Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. Today I'm bringing you a rare foray into high horology from the folks at Bell&Ross. We're discussing the Bell&Ross BR-X2 Micro-Rotor, a composition of sapphire and stainless steel. You can see and you can purchase this micro-rotor automatic flying tourbillon from Bell&Ross on our website. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoy these videos, and please click on the card in the upper right hand corner of the screen at any time during this video to see our full sales listing for this watch with additional accessories included in the sale, high resolution images for your desktop, and naturally complete pricing details for this Bell&Ross BR-X2 Tourbillon Micro-Rotor. Now the watch is a limited edition of 99 pieces constructed for the 2017 model year, and it's easily one of the most nuanced and intriguing offerings from Bell&Ross since the company's inception in 1992. While the shape is familiar and the proportions will clearly resonate with fans of the brand, it's the manner of complication and style of the case beyond the bare shape and dimensions that really raises eyebrows, and the watch has a lot to offer those who may not be conventional or traditional fans of Bell&Ross in any form. So let's talk about how it fits. 42.5 millimeters square. The watch is also quite slim, only 9 millimeters thick, and with a sloped edge, yes, it will fit underneath dress cuffs. The micro-rotor helping to keep the watch compact. Now, lug-to-lug, the watch measures 50 millimeters across the wrist, but the best way to think of how it wears is as 42.5 millimeters square. I believe you could wear this watch with security and style on a wrist as small as 14 centimeters in circumference, so it should have broad appeal based on ergonomics alone. It's a thin and elegant timepiece with a thin and elegant strap to match. It is a anthracite dark gray alligator leather strap, completely unbolstered. You can see that it has a sheer flank and a monotone stitch, and it's paired with a twin trigger stainless steel deployant clasp. You can see that this is an upscale refinement rarely seen on Bell&Ross watches. The carriage is curved to fit the shape of the underside of your wrist. It has the double fold, which I prefer for smaller wrists over the one big up and over that can pinch a small wrist in a single fold. Twin trigger release for absolute security and peace of mind when this is buckled to the wrist. Moreover, the watch features the most minimal of lugs. In fact, the lugs are almost not there. They serve only to provide outriggers for attachment of the strap. The watch wears effectively 42.5 across the wrist. It is remarkably slim. As you can see, the sapphires bulge out from the case back as well as the bezel, meaning that the mid-case itself is incredibly slim, only about 4 millimeters all told. Now you can see that the satin finish is vertical with a few polished highlights that can be seen sparingly used to accent the sapphire and the satin finished metal, almost like jewelry. Beautifully executed, and note the dramatic slope of the shaped sapphire that serves as the cap to the watch. Now you can see this is a Bell&Ross caliber 380. The 380 effectively is the watch with the most minimal of case, containing a movement that is 36 by 36 millimeters square and just fractionally over 4 millimeters thick. Now you'll note on the front a traditional Bell&Ross time-only array with the flying tourbillon, beautifully hand finished, at least the cage component is, beating away on the front and featuring the inset Bell&Ross logo. It is a fully loomed dial, so though this watch is decidedly high horology and refined in its comportment, nevertheless its roots are still evident in its style and functionality. You have that time-only luminescent dial, hands and plots. You also have 50-meter water resistance, which, while not an aquatic watch, does give it solidly more than the 2 to 3 ATM customary in the ultra-thin tourbillon class. Now you can see the micro-rotor in tungsten, and a movement that is made by MHC, which is a small Geneva-based firm called Manufacture Haute Complication, and it certainly lives up to its billing. It does all assembly, tuning, and finishing of the movement on behalf of Bell&Ross for the 99 pieces of this edition. You can see that the finish is a vertical satin grain or a brushed directional grain. Some of the individual components, like the wheels, feature beveled spokes. The screw heads are as you can see, handsomely polished, and that goes for the case assembly screws as well. And if you get very close and you look at the beveled edges, they are actually very narrow sections of sandblasted metallic finish. 31 jewels, very nicely executed. This is a watch that had an original retail value of just under $65,000, so this was assembled, designed, regulated, and finished to suit the price. You'll also note, if you look very carefully, that there are translucent, almost completely clear case gaskets right underneath the periphery of the sapphires on both sides that help this watch to achieve its 50-meter water-resistant rating. Now you can see that the watch beats away at a stately 4 Hertz. That's the standard beat rate, neither fast nor slow, 28,800 vibrations per hour. But I say stately because when you listen to it, it has the voice of a pocket watch. It's not the muted whisper of a wristwatch. Tourbillon escapements tend to be very vocal, and when you hold this one up against the wrist, you feel like you're listening to an old railroad chronometer from the 19th century. You can hear it in a quiet room at arm's length. It's that loud, and I love that. You can see how the Bell & Ross logo has been ghosted onto the underside of the sapphire, and the entirety of the movement watch combo, and they're effectively one and the same. It feels like you're wearing a bare movement on your wrist, featuring a 50-hour power reserve energized by the Micro-Rotor. This is a difficult watch to classify. It's a almost entirely sapphire-cased Bell & Ross Micro-Rotor tourbillon. This is from the people who brought us sub-$4,000 instrument watches with Sellita calibers. I recommend this watch to someone who wants the crowning glory of an existing Bell & Ross collection, or a high horology collector who may enjoy the functionality and aesthetic of Bell & Ross, but doesn't necessarily want to add one of the entry-level pieces to his haut de gamme collection. This is a watch that also represents excellent value in the tourbillon class, and if you're looking to add that specific complication in your collection, this is not just an interesting one. This is an interesting, practical, and usable example of an everyday watch. Granted, you've got to have the persona to pull it off, but in terms of the nuts, the bolts, and the functionality, this is all you need. 2 hands, a Micro-Rotor, an automatic, and hell, why not a tourbillon? See it and own it on our website.